just on the way into the yard, into the gym, feeling good. It's a nice Wednesday morning, sunny already. I was up at like 4:30 this morning, and it was already bright outside, which it's nice. I'm not a massive fan of this heat that's coming in at the minute, but the sun, the long days can stay for sure. So yeah, just going to head into the yard, get the kit loaded up, say hello to the guys, and then head out to site. Should be an interesting one today. I'm sure you've already seen a little snippet of what we're getting up to. I'm not too sure what we're doing, but I'll find out shortly. So let's crack on, let's get to it. Right, we are on site. First call of order. This massive willow is being smashed down to a 15-foot pollard so it can be maintained. Same with that willow, and then there's another one around the back. A couple of fells, that little ash, that big massive ash in the background there, and then the Crimson King to the side of it. We've got some pissy little ground lifting to do over there, and same with this. Yeah, got all the kit, should be a pretty decent day. Some big cuts, let's get to it. Chuck up in that gap. Just trying to get it. You can get it in between. Maybe through here might be better. Just to, might be able to push it on top of this bit of deadwood onto that fork. That's as far as I need to go.
Could be away from the timber as you get there.
To the top. To the top. Just knocked out decent sized top. What I like to do when I do something like willow that's prone for barber chairing is I do as big as a gob as I'm brave enough to take, and then I take the ears in, so that's either side of the gob cut, just to sort of reduce the amount of hinge, because I don't know how fast I'm able to cut through the back, and from my experience the best way to counter a barber chair is to keep cutting or cut really fast from the get-go, obviously reducing the amount of hinge wood, and that obviously helps. You can, on like a big straight fell, like an oak or something, you can bore through the middle and reduce the hinge that way, but it works. So yeah, got a hell of a lot more to do. We'll get another quote from Carr, what a man. Let's crack up.
It's alright. The range is deafening, so are you listening? There'll be silence no more. Well, it's all over now. Our voices ringing out. There'll be silence no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. Ring in your hand, it's all a mistake. Hide in the shadows on your face.
Back to the yard, to the job, sorry, just had to run a load of chip. We did have a place nearby, but that fell through, so I thought I was just going to nip quickly down the road to run a load of chip. I've ended up driving all the way back to the yard, so it's about an hour round trip. Sorry about the wind again. We've lost the mirror window. The van was in a bit of a collision, and it's going for insurance to get the door fixed, and the door was a bit buckled, and the window smashed recently, which is pretty frustrating for the guys who have to drive this van, and me currently. But yeah, so hour round trip back to the yard and back to the job, so I'm sure the guys have been smashing out all the work, and we're probably not far off sort of the back end of the job now by the time I get back. Yeah, so I'm probably just going to jump back straight in a harness. That's the thing with tree work, it's like a logistics nightmare. You've got to juggle the manpower, the load space, the tip site, the kit, the efficiency and everything else, and all the in-betweens and outs and all of that. I don't nearly have to do as much as the boss man does, but even on the smaller days where I'm left in charge with some minutely big kit or big jobs, it's such a logistical nightmare that you come out the end of it going home just before your contracted hours every day, almost, very rarely finishing late or too early. It's weird how it always seems to just sort of just about line up properly, but yeah, I can only imagine what the boss man has to go through on a daily basis, also running the business, progression and all the rest. But yeah, big respect to him. So yeah, I'm just going to head back to the job, probably jump straight up a tree and get back into the action. So I shall see you there. Right, just got back in time, setting up the winch cable, yank over the sash, and then probably, a pull line, and then rip over that maple over there. So let's get to it.
Wow. Jesus. Beautiful. Hey, let's bring that ladder over and grab this rope up. Oh, Tiago's here. Oh shit. A little bit. I'm allergic to bees. Yeah. Up top. Got fucking stung by a fucking ground bee and it got absolutely went just fucking bubble up. Saurus. We'll pop it off the pieces, or are you going sideways with it, or? Yeah, I was fucking tight when I give it a soak. Got a few elms coming up, and then this copper beech to the left. usually all day. Did you? Yep. Yeah, the ignorance is bliss, Jules. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. That's kind of loose, isn't it?
Right, that is it. We've got a little bit of chipping to do, as you saw at the front. A little bit of this beach to chip up. But that's it, pretty nice day. Rain's starting to come in now, so just tickling up the day in good time. Probably still got to run a van load and come back, grab some wood, but can't complain about that. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. We did for sure. And definitely a lifesaver with the digger. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I shall see you in the morning.